Our hope with these videos is to help you have a biblical perspective on the things going on around us and to show you what we at Mount Pleasant believe is important. We have some views that we really want to share with you and discuss. But today, actually, we're going to have a little bit of a different conversation. Josh, our associate minister, Josh, has something that he's going to share with us, and that's going to guide our conversation today. So, Josh.
Yeah. First of all, Gabe, thanks for having the opportunity to do this. Me and my family have been offered and we have accepted a position for a church planting resident at Orchard NEO. Orchard NEO stands for Northeastern Ohio. And we are going to start that very quickly. It'll be July 30th of this month. We'll be locating over there. Little context maybe I could give for that. Orchard NEO is a church planting network that actually got birthed out of Christ Community Chapel in Hudson, Ohio. So it's a Christian church, non-denominational in Hudson, Ohio. And they were a church plant themselves. And God just started sending people to them, and they kept growing and growing, and they'd add on to their buildings. And it got to a point that they said, hey, we got to stop building so much. Why don't we, and people are driving from everywhere to come there anyways, why don't we do some satellite churches? So they tried that. And it just didn't have the same results as like the Craig Grove Shells of the world are able to pull off.
Right.
And in between that time, they had met up with some church planners from Cleveland. And so they were highly successful in what they were doing, but just didn't have the networking and the financial support and all the logistics that go in with that. So you had two people, one wanting to have funding and networking, but can't get it going. They're getting it going, but don't have the funding and network. So they kind of came together, and that's how Orchard NEO was formed.
So how did you come about this job? What happened? How did they?
They contacted me through some connections. I actually was looking at church planning back in college. So college would have at Lincoln Christian University, a plug there for that. But they would have career fairs or stuff where organizations would come in. And so anyways, they had a certain profile they were looking for, and they reached out to me. And to be honest with you, many of you probably don't know much about church planting, but it's kind of like it's very similar to how missionaries operate. So you would raise your own support. You know, I would try to sit down with you and your family and tell you what I'm doing and see if you would sponsor me. So for Orchard NEO to, I'll get paid a salary similar to what I'm getting paid here. So. And that's just unheard of. Mm-hmm. And so for the most part, I never wanted to do that because with my young family and,
right.
Move up to Chicago and find a job and in the downtime and in between your times, do what you can to get something going. So this,
what really is a great opportunity because it might sound bad to some people, but it's real in ministry that you might really want to do something like a church plant, but if funds aren't available, that might hinder a lot of people from doing that, right? You think of your family, you would go, but take your family with you. And then if it's hard and struggling, and I know plenty of people that have planted churches and they just couldn't have the funds.
Right.
The people were coming, but they themselves, it was hard to find a job, one that would, pay enough for a whole family, especially when they moved to, a very random place. So yeah, it really is kind of unheard of when you said everything else also that you get to do and the involvement. It's really a great opportunity, and we're excited for you as a staff. We've obviously discussed this, and it's an exciting opportunity.
It certainly is. I actually didn't believe them when they reached out to me, because when someone presents you an offer that sounds too good to be true, you're like, where's the catch in this? And so far, it just hasn't. I haven't found any, and they've had. It's fairly new, so last year was their first year, but I got to talk to the two church planners that went through the program first, and man, it's just cool. A church. The CCC has a vision of 10,000 baptisms, of $30 million to missions, and they want to plant 40 churches up in there by 2020.
Okay.
So it's exciting. I mean, they're
they
big bold vision, and they're going hard at it, and
So what's the timeline for you leaving, and what is that going to look like?
Okay, so this is where it gets nuts. So many of you that know me know I'm pretty. I like a schedule. I like routine. I like things researched. This is stretching me on my preferences there. So we really don't have a place to live at this point in time. We're looking. They're helping us look. But as of today, right now, while we're shooting this, we don't technically have a spot to go to. What it looks like is July 26th will be our last Sunday here. And then I think we'll still be packing on the 27th on Monday. Probably looking at taking off Tuesday the 28th.
Right. Less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Less than 2 weeks. So yeah, it is coming quickly. And yes, you are right. I know a little bit about you enough to know that we schedule things and structure it. But even then, that's something that you really are taking a step of faith. That God is calling you, and everything's prepared, or for the most part, and even with short notice, God is still going to provide, whether you had 3 months out, 6 months out, or 2 weeks. It's easy for me to say I'm not the one leaving. Right. So
it is. One of the heartbreaking things about that, they've identified 80 plus cities, communities that don't have a gospel preaching church there. So people are like, why Northeastern Ohio? Well, I mean, it's pretty, but so is Southern Indiana, so is a lot of places I've been. But like hearing that does something to my heart. I want to run to something like that. That's a bunch of people way outside the Bible Belt. I was just joking with April downstairs that, we probably have 80 churches in Lawrence County,
right.
and that's a whole section of a state. And, there's people out there that don't know Jesus, and I want to show them.
Right. Yeah. No, well, I mean, I definitely think what you're doing is an awesome thing. I know that when so many times in the Bible, when the Lord has called people out, it's a step of faith. But man, the stuff that they do, because they trusted God, because they decided to leave what they know and comfort, and they decided to go out. And really, I hope it's an encouragement to people watching who maybe have been thinking about taking a different step and go a different direction, and thinking, I hope it's not offensive to you for me to say, just you're older than me. Mm-hmm. So to make a move, again, might make a lot of people nervous, or anyone changing a job or changing careers, and people are nervous. Well, can this work? But if the Lord is blessing you, if the Lord is calling you, then of course you're going to be fine.
And that was it, Gabe. I think through the whole, from our initial conversation to now, when I prayed about it, I didn't ask God for a magic sign or anything like that, but I just said, God, if you keep opening doors, if you keep moving me along, I'll continue to walk in that direction. And he just did,
right.
Up until the point that we accepted. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't anything magical. It wasn't, I didn't hear the voice of God, anything like that. But I clearly feel that this is where he wants us to go. As scary as it is, as much as it hurts, because it's not going to be easy. We've been here almost 3 years, and certainly gotten close to a lot of you. We've had some of these conversations. We've shed some tears. We'll shed some more tears. This isn't easy. It isn't easy to say goodbye to people that have become our family. And,
right.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. So, 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
What has been your favorite memory being here at Mount Pleasant these almost 3 years, and what would you just tell everyone watching, our church body, our church family, just like a final word? So first one is favorite memory. What did you do that you loved, that you were proud of, or anything like that?
Man, there's been a lot of good ones. My mind races to the VBSs or the men's retreats that we've had, some of the discipleship conferences we went to. But if I had to pick one, it would be that Bethlehem and Bedford that we did. I mean, I don't know. I just thought this idea, and it wasn't anything crazy original, but hey, I have this idea, and the whole body, you got everyone grabbed around it, and we really were able to bless, I forget what it was, 20 plus families, 20 plus family. There was over 100 people that we served through that, and extravagantly. It's not like we just gave them $10 debit card.
Right.
You know, we had toys and all that, and we did see some fruit from that, and I think we will continue to see some through that, and that was just cool. I don't know if you guys will continue to do stuff like that, but anyway, reaching out in the community is good. It's because we're out here on the city on the hill, but sometimes we gotta stretch our wings and go into town to do that, and I just think that was cool. It was cool to everyone that got to come see it. It was just a joy, you know, and good conversations. It was real relaxed, and so many people helped with that. That wasn't me. That was the body. It was just, that was the beauty of it. It was the body in motion and loving, and everyone had their ideas and throwing them in there. And it was better than anything I could have ever made up.
Right.
So final words. Final words. You know, this is a strange time that we're living in. I don't know who's listening and how you feel about COVID, or, you know, how you feel about the systemic racism kind of things, all the stuff. What's going to happen with school and life, and are we ever going back to normal? But what I can say is, for me, the same thing that made me stop being a carpenter to become a minister, and that now as a church planter, is Jesus and his simple, beautiful message of loving God and loving others, and how that happens in relationship. I'm a product of relationships, of deep relationships. You can't just surface. If you want to stay on the surface, it's okay, but you won't get that transformation that you're seeking to get, or that connection you're longing for. And every time I've gotten to, whether it's been a mission trip or a small group or some kind of serving ministry, the more you're invested, accountable, vulnerable with people, man, it just seems to be the hot bed for the Holy Spirit and God to work in your life.
Yeah.
So if you're not wanting that, I mean, obviously stay away from relationship, but I think most of you probably hunger for deeper connection and deeper intimacy with God and others. And I think Jesus gave us that model. And yeah, I'm a discipleship minister, so I'm always going to talk about relationships and being in groups. But I mean, it really is, even now, the connections we've made through that. I mean, me and my wife volunteers with people in our groups, and it's just really tough. I mean, some of them like, we'll pull a truck and trailer down there, you know, and I'm like, to me, that's nuts.
Right.
But it's people that love you and care. I mean, and Jesus is the only person that's ever gave that to me. It's because of him that I have these relationships, and we have this bond. And so I just encourage you, especially now, because we tend to isolate during these times, right? And our patterns are all messed up. And so I would just encourage you to seek those kind of things out. However, whatever you call it, you know, whether it's your Sunday school or Bible study, or
just to find any type of community, deeper connections, not shallow relationships, but deeper.
Certainly.
Right? Yeah.
Things that, like, you know, because the people, even though we're meeting once a week, there's side conversations going on. You're going to barbecues. You're watching so-and-so play a baseball game. You're going to graduations and big events, you know, birthday parties.
But it's the deep conversations that actually bring change and
certainly
help you. And
because eventually when we're close enough and I say, hey, how are you and Britt doing? You're like, yeah, I'm fine. How are you and Britt doing? But someday you're not going to be fine. And after we've been building trust with one another, I mean, that's when it kind of opens up, and we're able to share. And then, you know, then I share with you. I remember when me and Michelle went through this, or, you know, because none of us are perfect and we all need each other. So that would be my encouragement. I think you do that, you're finding God's purpose for you, and you'll find peace. Yeah. Peace in that. So,
well, I'm glad that we could do this, and that this we could share this on this format, and I appreciate everything you've done this whole time, and I'm genuinely excited for you. All the stuff that you're going to do, that's exciting. It's exciting stuff. So So yeah, I'm glad we could talk about this a little bit on video for people to know about this. And if you want to, I didn't ask you for this, but if you do want to keep up with however Josh is doing, you can let us know, and we can probably find out a way to have that communication, to not just let you go and see you later.
Yeah, I'll still have the same email, the same phone number.
Right.
I'll send new stuff as it comes along. Maybe I'll call Gabe to set up my website. I don't know, but
Right.
We'll figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't plan on. I'm just 6 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think Mount Pleasant's just getting a little bigger. We're
Right.
covering more territory. I hope I'm still part of the family. I still feel like I am.
Right.
And
yeah, I mean,
that's the way I'm looking at it.
It is the same, and for you guys watching, it is the same mission. We're on the same team.
Yep.
We're fighting the same enemy, and it's true, exactly what you said. It's like, we can say it's like Mount Pleasant's getting bigger. It's just the Church of God. We're just reaching different places, and man, how cool that you get to move and do things at a different level. So man, really happy for you, and I hope that you guys were encouraged by this episode. Again, we're gonna keep doing these, and the hope is just to have more conversations, and hopefully those conversations we have inspire you to have great conversations with other people. So that's all we have for this week, and we'll see you next Thursday for another episode.
Love you guys.